Hey everyone, my name is the Theme Park Evangelist. Well, it is officially Monday again, which means it is time for another History of the Theme Park Evangelist YouTube series. Well, since I accidentally skipped a YouTube video or whatever, I'm actually going to backtrack. So, last Monday, technically, or Tuesday, whatever, I did my vlog on, I was supposed to have talked about, you know what, I think it was last Monday because I ended up doing it super late at night because I had to work last Monday. But this Monday, for whatever reason, I'm off. I know, my schedule is so inconsistent. But anyway, last Monday I ended up talking about my most recent trip to Central Florida. Now I remember because I ended up doing that between 1 to 2 in the morning. That was crazy. But this Monday, we're going to be discussing why I felt like November of 2023 or Thanksgiving week of 2023 was the perfect ideal time to get engaged to Katie. I have a more formal title for it, but that's basically what I'm going to tell you guys today. And I'm actually going to go back on my Facebook page and check and see what today's YouTube video was supposed to be called, if that makes any sense. I've been discussing it not just on here, but on my normal YouTube channel that I've been doing this YouTube series, and it's coming to an end, as well as my college days, which I'm going to continue on Wednesday. But yeah, we're like down to the last few weeks of both YouTube series, if not less, with my college days. It was a lot shorter than I thought it would be, but here soon I'm going to be starting a brand new YouTube series called How You Can Stay Faithful to God During Difficult Times. Also, I should note that today is my final day of having this apartment to myself. My roommate comes back tonight. And then I will have him to live with again for the next few weeks. And then I'm going out of town again. So we're going to be discussing that here in the next couple of minutes. And I should also mention that next Monday I turn 31. I more than likely am working on my 31st birthday. I don't know when I'm going to be working, but regardless, next Monday we're actually going to be discussing how it was more challenging to look for my current vehicle, the SUV, versus the 2016 Ford Focus I used to have. So basically, the short version of next week's vlog on my birthday is how difficult was it to find a car in Kentucky versus a car in Florida. And you'd be surprised, the answer really lies in the fact that I went from them using my college credit and just the fact that it was my first car purchase to basing everything off of my credit card credit, and the fact that when I first was looking for a car, I basically was willing to go anywhere, and I didn't really have a set price. Plus, the fact that I had the advantage of having $2,000 down because of all the college expenses I had made, and that was how much money I had saved up from college, plus my grandfather. And then this time, I had the disadvantage of having no money down, and that made my life a lot harder. Even though my credit was my credit card score was decent, but it wasn't great either. So that's what I'm going to be discussing next Monday. Anyway, as you guys know, it is officially November. It is Monday, November 4th. Hence why I mentioned I'll be turning 31 in a week. So obviously, with Halloween and fall being behind us, actually yesterday was my very last fall vlog for the year, which means that we are now going to be moving forward into Christmas season, as crazy as that is. So, actually, with that being said, next Friday, as of right now, depending on my work schedule and all that fun stuff, is supposed to be my very first Christmas vlog for the year. Hard to believe, isn't that crazy? Or hard to believe, isn't it? Is really what the word I was looking for, or words I was looking for. So, yeah, more or less, next week is the Answers in Genesis staff Christmas party. So they have to do their staff Christmas party next week while they're slow versus right around the time that Christmas actually starts up because they're going to be too crazy. Now, the hotel I work at is slowing down, and it's going to get slower. So that's why their staff Christmas party is actually next Tuesday, and I'm excited to say I got invited. But unfortunately, since this is a private event, I'm not able to YouTube it. I might be able to sneak in some pictures, but that's as much as I can do. And that's even if I even go outside at all. But anyway, sorry about the blanket being right there. The following week, I'm going, Lord willing, if I have the money, which I should, planning on taking Katie down to the Kentucky Horse Park, and we're going to go check out their Christmas light display there. So the very first one next week is light at the fair in Boone County, the Boone County Fairgrounds, so about 30 minutes away from me. And then the next one is going to be the Kentucky Horse Park, which is an hour south of me. And then, as much as I hate to say this, we're going to take a little pause, or we're going to come back in December. Why is that? Because the week after that is actually when I'm going to be going out of town with Katie to Canada. So, my original plans when going to Canada were going to be involving driving up to Niagara Falls via I-71, making a quick pit stop in Columbus, so Katie could do what she needed to do, and then we're going to continue on from there. We're going to spend a couple of days with my grandmother out in Niagara Falls, and then we're going to make our way from there to Wyvale, Ontario, where all my family is going to get together, my mom's side, and then we're going to do everything out there, maybe spend a couple of days out doing some sightseeing out there, even if there isn't really anything to see out there, no matter what my dad says. And then we were going to start making our way back towards Kentucky. We were going to spend a night at least out in London, Ontario. I had us staying at the Hampton Inn and Suites in London, Ontario, when we were going to go see Katie's Nana and Papa. They're Scottish. And we were going to do some stuff with them, and then we were going to make our way back from there. And of course, I was going to have Katie and I stay at Hampton Inn and Suites in Florence, Kentucky, on our way up there, and then the plans changed to Home 2 Suites in Florence, Kentucky as well. So that's all going to go down the 26th through the 27th. So the Tuesday through the day before Thanksgiving, that is the current plan, is to stay over there. So still being closer to Meijer, but closer to Walmart now, which is hilarious. Walmart in Florence, not here in Dry Ridge. And then we'll be back in Kentucky early December, and then we'll be back to our normal YouTubing schedule the following week, and then we'll go from there. But but what's changed now is the fact that now, because of my dad's insistence, we're going to be staying at the Home 2 Suites as planned, and then we're going to go to London, Ontario first. And we're going to spend 2 nights now, spend a little bit more time with Katie's Nana and Papa. And this time, I had to find us a different hotel, so this time we're actually going to be staying at the Homewood Suites out there in London. But this time I got us an even nicer hotel, which is hilarious. So in some ways, I'm actually thankful to my dad for this. So you guys will get to see that, plus the Home 2 suites in Florence. And we're staying in Kitchener this time. And then we'll stay in Niagara Falls on the way back, and this time we'll stay a couple of days. And we're going to leave as early as the Monday morning. And then we're going to do some YouTubing out in Niagara Falls on the way back. So more or less, all the YouTubing is going to take place in London, Kitchener, maybe a little bit in Wyvale, and then mostly in Niagara Falls. So just so you guys know, for heads up, or future reference heads up, before I actually travel out there, and then when we get back, we'll go from there. All right, we are approaching the 11-minute mark. I went almost a minute over this time, but there was a lot there to discuss, and I will be going over this again and again over the next couple of weeks, just to make sure everybody knows what I'm going to be, what the plans are when the time comes, since that was a little confusing. So yeah, basically, come November 2023, Katie and I were 100% ready to get engaged, but the real question is, why was I ready? I mean, we already, let me tell you right now, Katie was 100% ready by November 2023. And her reasoning was, well, I wanted to make sure that David and I had been together at least a year and a half before I went ahead and said, yeah, let's do it. And Katie originally had this plan on having me propose to her the following Thanksgiving in the Outer Banks. And I was going to do it right there on the beach, and she wanted her entire side of the family there. Well, plans kind of didn't work out the way that she originally planned. Some stuff were going on with her side of the family, and we spoke to her parents about it, to Dan and Jenny, and they basically came up with an alternative. So long before Hurricane Helene rolled through Asheville, aka Western North Carolina, for those of you who do not know your North Carolina geography, they had looked into booking an Airbnb or cabin in Little Switzerland, North Carolina, which is not too far from Asheville. It's about an hour, and we got one all the way up till Thursday night. Now here comes the funny thing. We were originally under the impression we were going to be staying there the entire week, and then checking out of the Airbnb on Saturday morning, and then making our way out towards whatever you call it, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, from there that Saturday morning, or Saturday afternoon, since we weren't too far from Pigeon Forge. And my future father-in-law decided to wait until Wednesday night, Thursday morning, whatever, to reach out to the owner. And I couldn't find anything online at all. Like, I was like under the impression this is it, we're gonna have to stay in a hotel. And he was like so confident he could talk her into letting us stay there one more night. I'm very glad he did talk her into it. And the biggest reason is because I got elevation sickness while I was up at Grandfather Mountain, which is about 5,000 to 6,000 feet above sea level, which is pretty high. And he talked to her, and she was like, yeah, that's fine. I don't mind you guys staying another night. I don't have anybody that needs a place. And I was like, yay. So, worked out. But, for me personally, the biggest reason why I was ready by this point, like, I'll be honest with you guys, I had some doubts all the way up until the week of Thanksgiving of last year. Like, by this year, I know for a fact, in some ways, this year more than last year, I am 100% ready. And in some ways this year I would have been more willing to just go ahead and do the proposal, do the engagement, and then get married the following year. But at the time, I felt like I was seeing a lot of red flags with Katie, and that a lot of it just had to do with not knowing her long enough, not knowing her well enough. And the point of this vlog is not really to talk to you guys about what I did, because you can honestly go into my North Carolina vlogs playlist and go back and watch every single vlog, including at the cabin. But what I really wanted to talk to you guys about is more about my relationship with Katie, because a lot of you guys have really enjoyed seeing Katie on my YouTube channel, and I've been talking about it quite a bit lately, but my YouTube channel is just not what it used to be. This is one of my favorite things to say. I started this YouTube channel on Sunday, December 4th, 2016. It started about 1 in the afternoon. I had just gotten done with church that morning, and I went with TJ out to Universal Orlando, and we had gone out there to do the Christmas stuff, and I just had this random idea popped in my head. It was just TJ and I hanging out at the time. I was single, ready to mingle, and I wasn't, seeing anybody at the time. And all I was, thinking about at the time was just going around, going to the parks, eating out, getting, I hate to say it, drunk, because I was an alcoholic back then. I used to be an alcoholic for a long time, but deep down inside, I still am. And Katie knows, and the closer I get to her, the more she knows I'm struggling with it deep down inside. And it's hard. But anyway, we'd gone to Universal, and I said to TJ, it'd be a really good idea right now. And he goes, what? And I said, let's start YouTubing. And he goes, okay. I mean, at the time, he didn't really care. He was just kind of go with the flow kind of guy. And here I am, 8 years later, almost 8 years later. Actually, 1 month from today, my YouTube channel turns 8 years old, believe it or not. And it was just one of those things. I never thought I would still be doing this almost 8 years later. I thought this was like a one-time fluke thing. My parents and my brother honestly thought the same thing. They were like, nah, he's not going to keep doing this, and yet I'm still doing it. And they're like, well, he's not doing that well. I mean, come on, I'm 25 subscribers away from 500. And when I hit 500, that's going to be huge for me. And I know I can do it. I believe in myself. And I know a lot of you do too. And, my parents and my brother may not believe in me, but they don't have to. Because Katie believes in me. Katie believes in me on a lot of things. But, when I first introduced Katie to my YouTube channel, I'll admit she was a little awkward around me and my YouTube channel at first, but the more she's gotten involved in my life, the more personal we've gotten with each other, the more I've seen her come out of her shell on my YouTube channel. Like, in a lot of ways, I feel like it's Tim and Jen all over, but this time it's Katie and David. And I love that. And I can tell a lot of you like it too. And I love all the different things that I brought to my YouTube channel over the years. I love the fact that I'm bringing Katie into it. I love the fact that every single year I'm always trying to bring something new, but I'm still willing to do repeat vlogs from previous years. I may not be the same guy that was going to Disney all the time and Universal and Legoland. I miss those days, but that doesn't mean I still don't enjoy going. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy vlogging there. I mean, come on. I'm going to go back again next year. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go vlog those things again. And what's even better is, in the future, I'm going to have Katie with me to enjoy those things with. But, anyway, so, as far as what was going through my mind that particular week was the fact that when I first came down there, Katie and I were having some issues. I was having some issues with my future father and mother-in-law. I still do have some issues with them, and that's probably never going to change. And I really heard God telling me just over and over again, David, sometimes you're just never going to be 100% sure. Sometimes you're never going to be 100% ready. Like, my biggest challenge this year has been money. Last year it was, is Katie and I ready for each other? I went from making too much money but having too tired of a body to not making enough money. And it's been very stressful. But I feel like God put me through the challenges at the time he did for a reason. So, I was dating Katie at the time, or I was just boyfriend, girlfriend with Katie at the time. And I'm just going to bring you to one particular night. I remember very vividly. So I had this queen room to myself at the cabin. And it was a beautiful room. If you could see outside the window, it would be nice. Like, there was some windows that went around the room from the top, but there was one window I could actually look out, and it was connected to a living room where you could clearly see out into the trees that overlooked the mountain we were sitting on. And I was laying there one night. It was like 11 o'clock at night, midnight. It was pitch black. And often when I'm alone, whether I'm going through a rough time, whether I'm not going through a rough time, I just like to lay there and just talk to God. Some of you might call me weird, but that's okay. And I said to God, I don't know if I'm honestly ready to propose to Katie on Thursday. I knew I was supposed to. I knew it was coming. I knew I only had a few more days left. I knew things were not going well. And I heard God distinctly say to me, David, sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes you're never going to be 100% ready. And sometimes the best course of action is just to do it anyway and just let the chips fall as they may. I've actually heard that term before from my former pastor James Smith, the third, down in Winter in Florida. So basically, God was telling me that what I needed to do was just do it anyway, just trust Him, and just know that He had my best, interest at heart. And I was like, really? And God said, absolutely. So, I didn't tell my in-laws, or future in-laws, that I had that same vision. So I was talking to them one morning. I was upstairs with them in the family room having our morning coffee. And I was telling them the same exact thoughts I was having one night with God. And they said, sometimes, David, you just need to just do it. And this wasn't just coming from Dan. It was coming from Jenny, too. It's like, wow, deja vu. I know I've heard that one before. And I was like, well, God, I think you're trying to tell me something here. So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I don't know what it was about Thanksgiving morning. This is where I'm going to end. So I woke up Thursday morning. It was a beautiful day. God really blessed us with some beautiful weather there near the end of the week. It started, like, that Tuesday was horrible. Everything about Tuesday was horrible. Katie and I were bickering with each other. It was raining. I was not getting along with Dan and Jenny. It was a bad day. I wanted to go home. Things were just going wrong. But then the next day came around, and It was gorgeous out. You had a perfect view of the mountains. The sunrise was gorgeous. It was a nice breeze. It was kind of nice and hot out. The sun was hitting down just right. It's almost like God was just right there. You could almost say that. And I said, God, I know I'm ready. I even went down there. I had some quiet time with him, and I said, God, I'm ready to do this. I'm not backing it now. And after I went and changed into my proposal clothes, we got everything set up for the proposal. And I got down in that back patio, which you can actually see on my YouTube channel. I filmed the entire... Actually, Dan filmed the entire thing. I just posted it on YouTube. I almost said I filmed the entire thing. I was like, how could I film the entire thing if I was someone proposing? My bad. Anyway, I remember getting down on one knee, and I just literally let God give me the right words to say, and I prayed about it so hard. And Katie loved every second that I was talking. She felt like I talked on a little too long, but Dan and Jenny turned around. They said to me, we didn't have a problem with it. We loved everything you said. We loved how long you took, and that's all that mattered to me. And Katie ended up turning around and changing her mind anyway. So when I finally pulled out the ring box, honestly, that was the happiest I had seen Katie in a long time. And I've known Katie over 3 years by now. And put that ring on her finger, and she just lit up. It was amazing. And I felt like the rest of the day was like the best day ever. I felt like this warm, gooey feeling, like this, almost like I was surrounded by warm chocolate chip cookies or brownies being baked all day. I promise I'm not hungry. I'm just trying to describe my feelings. And that's just kind of how I was feeling all day. It was just that feeling like, wow, this is amazing. I love it. And we just started feeling more connected. But I'll tell you right now, it's almost like being a Christian. This is my final point. Just like becoming a Christian doesn't automatically mean you're that much closer to God. Doesn't mean you're automatically 100% close to God. Doesn't mean that you and God are like super tight. Everything's good and everything's okay with the world. That's not how being a Christian works. I wish, but it's not. It takes a lot of work. And that's how a relationship works. I didn't get into that relationship overnight with Katie. I didn't get to that engagement overnight. I wasn't ready for the engagement overnight. You guys already heard my story. And do you think that over the past year has been a cakewalk? There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on behind the scenes, off camera, if you will, that I'm not necessarily going to talk about on YouTube. That has helped Katie and I to grow even stronger. And with us getting married in less than a year, that brings me to my biggest question: am I ready to get married? I'm actually going to be answering that in another YouTube video. My final YouTube video of the entire series is going to be on, am I ready to get married to Katie in 2025? So make sure that you check that out when the time comes. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys yes, but I'm going to tell you why in that final vlog. Make sure that you go back and you watch that when the time comes. There's a lot of people, especially my worldly friends, who don't think I'm ready to get married to Katie. They just don't. And I'm going to go into a good 30 to 40 minute discussion on, including the 10 minutes beforehand, on why I feel like getting married to Katie by next August, or August of 2025 is right. That's right for me. Well, I will see you guys on Wednesday in my next vlog. And always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great day, and peace out.